5 ways to stop mothering your man because it will kill the attraction in your relationship. Hi to all the anxious attached overthinkers. This one is for you. If you're constantly checking in on your partner, if you find yourself managing his schedule or his meals or his responsibilities, this one is for you. And this isn't about not caring. You might be caring too much that you're stepping into the mother role of your partner in your relationship. And for the ones who have an anxious attachment style, this pattern runs so much deeper. Today we're talking about why this happens, what it costs you, and also why this pattern doesn't apply just to women who are mothering their man, but also why this applies to all genders, like for example, men fathering their women. And most importantly, how to break free from this cycle so you can recreate the romance you deserve. Plus, stay with me till the end because I will reveal the most powerful step-by-step process to transform your anxious micromanaging behaviors so you can step into your magnetic self that your partner won't be able to resist. By the way, hi, I'm Yula. Welcome to the Anxiously Secure podcast. For years, my anxious attachment showed up in this kind of mothering behaviors for my partner as well without even knowing it. And it was so deeply ingrained that still even to this day, sometimes, even though I'm to 80% securely attached now, I'm still sometimes wanting to micromanage my partner, wanting to overstep his boundaries, which only makes him feel he can't take care of himself, which is never a good sign. But now I'm able to stop myself in time before I cross these boundaries, and I will help you do the same. Disclaimer, I'm not a therapist or doctor. This content is for informational and entertainment purposes only. It's not intended to diagnose, treat, or heal any mental health condition. If you're in an abusive relationship or dealing with severe mental health challenges, always seek professional advice. Before we dive deep into these patterns, this can be applied to all relationships, regardless of gender. Whether you're mothering your man, fathering your woman, or overparenting your partner, no matter of your gender or your partner's gender. And if you're identifying as an anxious attacher and probably have an avoidant attached partner, this one is for you. So let's talk about a few signs that you might be fathering your woman. You might be constantly checking in on her location for safety reasons, or maybe you're taking over finances too much because in air quotes, she's not good with her money. Or maybe you're acting too much of a protector because you want to control who she sees. Some ways of how mothering your man might look like is you're reminding him repeatedly of tasks and appointments, or you're acting as a manager in the household because he won't do it right, in air quotes. Managing his health and diet and personal care, for example, can be also seen as mothering your man. Again, this isn't just about gender, it's more about anxious attachment patterns that drive you to control your environment or your partner to feel more secure and at peace within yourself. This pattern in particular drives away avoidant attached partners who drive on independence and choice and freedom. So that's why it's so important that you look at yourself and see, hey, what can I control? My thoughts and my emotions and my actions, and not my environment, not my partner. By the way, this episode is mostly written for women because I always envision my older version of myself in my anxious avoidant relationship when I was trapped in this anxious push and pull cycle, because I can give the best examples this way. But I'm sure it's very helpful for all kind of genders because you can still take so many lessons away from this. Yeah, let me know what you think on the YouTube comments, and I'm super excited for this one. 5 clear signs you're mothering your man. Sign 1 is you remind him constantly about everything. Babe, don't forget the electricity bill. Need to text your mom back. We need to book that dentist appointment. Or if you stop reminding him, does everything fall apart? That's a sign you're in mother mode or manager mode also. Sign 2 that you're mothering your man is you correct him over small things even. Like He loads the dishwasher in the wrong way and you redo it again, or at the wrong time. He folds the towels differently and you refold them again. He buys the wrong brand of milk and you lecture him about how it's not organic or not as healthy or has too much calories. These corrections seem very small, but over time they add up, and ask yourself, how does he feel when you do all of these things? How would you feel? It's just not a nice feeling, especially if you have this core wound of you feeling trapped by all of these things. Sign 3 that you are mothering your man is you feel exhausted while he seems relaxed. A bit of a weird one, but for example, you're running around cleaning the house while he's lying on the couch, being this lazy slop on the couch, and you're building up resentment over all of the things, while maybe he's watching TV or Netflix or playing on his PlayStation. You're packing the kids' lunches, signing school forms, and he's scrolling on his phone. He doesn't seem stressed about any responsibilities, while you have to think 20 steps ahead because he doesn't seem to do anything. But you also don't give him a chance to step it up because you already take over all of the responsibilities. Another sign that you are mothering your man is you take over all of the responsibilities he should handle. You plan his social schedules and your own and the kids. You're checking in when his car insurance is due or when his car needs to be washed. And you even go so far that if you're driving in a car, you remind him that there's a stop sign, even though he is a safe driver. And yes, safety comes always first, but if he's not a responsible driver, you don't go into a car with him. That is your boundary, right? You can't control how he drives or what he's doing, but you can control your behaviors. It doesn't help if you micromanage how he drives or what he does, or if he sees a car coming. There's no point of you interacting how he drives. You need to either not drive with him or stop trying to tell him how he should drive. Another sign that you're mothering your man is you worry about him like a parent, like a mother. You're fathering your woman like a father. So you say, oh, did you remember the umbrella because it might going to rain later? Or are you dressed warm enough? Don't forget your jacket. Are you really going to eat that chocolate? Text me when you get home safe. And then keep calling him, keep checking up on them. When you keep worrying about him, you start to treat him like a child instead of like a man. Can you recognize yourself in these examples? And if yes, we have all been there, I've been there, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. If you have an anxious attachment style, there's a reason why we do this. Your hypervigilance about your relationship makes you think you need to control everything to feel safe, to be on top of things. Because control is really the thing that gives you safety, that keeps you safe in your relationship and in the way your partner shows up for yourself. But let's talk about why mothering destroys your relationship. Mothering energy sends a subconscious message. I don't trust you, partner, to handle your own life. I don't believe you are capable. You need me to function. You're acting like a child, so I have to step in. The biggest reason this behavior is so damaging is because it kills polarity, the natural attraction between masculine and feminine energy in a relationship, which is very needed in all kind of relationships, no matter of gender. Think about masculine and feminine energy like magnets. They attract each other, but they're also the opposites. So when a woman starts mothering, she moves into her masculine energy, so which is more like controlling, doing, managing, and leading. Feminine energy is more like nurturing and flowing and supporting and trusting. Masculine energy is more structured, protective, decisive, and providing. And both are needed in the relationship. So when you as a woman start to be more in your masculine energy, your partner naturally is more in their feminine energy. And this whole balance, breaks down a little bit. And you start seeing him as a child instead of as a partner. He starts feeling more inadequate and withdraws more, and the romantic and sexual energy disappears over time. And then for anxious attachers, this is the painful irony. The very strategies you use to feel secure in your relationship, controlling, checking in, reminding them, creating the emotional distance you fear the most is exactly the thing that you create with this. But how do you know if you're crossing the line from caring to controlling? So let's talk about the difference between nurturing versus mothering. So nurturing is more like being caring, supportive, versus mothering is more like being controlling or nitpicking. Now, nurturing can be trusting that he can handle his life, versus mothering is more doubting his abilities and taking over. Nurturing is again encouraging him to grow in his own way, versus mothering is trying to fix or change him. Nurturing is giving in a way that doesn't drain you. Mothering is overgiving so that really exhausts you and leaves you with nothing, with no energy at the end of the day. Let's say, for example, you make him coffee because you love him and you enjoy doing it, which is more like nurturing. But if you start expecting it every day, even though you don't feel like it, or you just can't be asked, or sometimes you're just too busy, or you're too tired, and you just do it out of this I have to mindset, and you build resentment towards it, then it becomes more like mothering. Or you're scared your partner just feels like annoyed or feels like let down when you don't do it, then it's also more like mothering. So if you recognize yourself in this mothering column, don't blame yourself. There's a reason this pattern developed, especially for the one who have an anxious attachment style. Let's talk about the anxious-avoidant trap and why we mother and how it actually backfires. So if you have an anxious attachment style, you're especially vulnerable for this pattern, and it creates this dangerous cycle with avoidant partners, and it will backfire on you. So why do we do this? So let's talk about this a little bit. So why do anxious attachers mother their partner? It's because your hyperactivated attachment systems is constantly scanning for threats. You're over-functioning to prevent abandonment and feel irreplaceable. Okay, let's talk about a few reasons why you, as an anxious attacher, mother your partner. First, your hyperactivated attachment systems is constantly scanning for threats. You're over-functioning to prevent abandonment. Also, your past experiences of caretaking taught you that this is love. The more you take care of other people, maybe of your siblings and people you grew up with, that this is your responsibility. The more you do for others, that this means love, and this is your survival method. So how does this now create your anxious avoidance cycle? So when you are anxious and trying to control him, this triggers your avoidant partners to withdraw. When he then withdraws, it confirms your abandonment fears, and you feel like, oh my God, is he going to leave me? Does he not like me anymore? What happens when he breaks up with me? And you're gonna panic and spiral, and you increase your mothering behaviors or fathering behaviors to feel secure, to feel needed, and you think you have to earn their love. And then he retreats further, he pulls away even more, and this then recreates this distance where he then pulls away more and you give more and you nurture more, and it continues the cycle. And yeah, it's quite interesting that so many anxious attachers initially fall in love with this adventurous and slightly childlike side of their partner, but then later on we criticize and try to control and tame our partner instead of appreciating their playful free spirit side. But then we kind of try to make them more responsible or according to standards. And I think this is something where we can really look to ourselves and see, hey, why is this so important for us? But this is all part of the healing process, and really start off, the more you become securely attached, the more you'll be able to let go of these micromanaging mothering behaviors. And now it's really time for this 5-step process. I'm excited to share with you my 5 steps to break this mothering behaviors. Let's go. First step is track your mothering behaviors for 7 days. Keep a note in your phone on your journal, whatever your preferred method is. Write down each time you notice yourself mothering him. Be very specific. What are you doing exactly? What triggered it? What did you say or do? No judgment, just awareness. You want to identify your specific pattern. When are you mothering the most? In the morning rush, in the evening, when you feel very anxious, when everything else falls apart during the day or during the week, when you're very busy? What specific topics are triggering your controlling behaviors? Is it health, work, social plans? And then set a goal to be more nurturing versus mothering in these specific areas you have identified. Second step is rewire your brain by journaling the consequences or the possibilities. Your anxious brain wants to keep you safe, and it does it by avoiding pain. So if you remind yourself of all the consequences of why mothering your man is so bad for your relationship and for yourself and for your partner, you will learn to change your thought patterns as well and your beliefs and stop your behaviors as well. It will be so much easier because 95% of our actions are driven by our subconscious mind. So you really want to work with the subconscious mind. So write down what happens when you mother him. Like, I feel exhausted and resentful. He withdraws emotionally. He will feel like a child. He will feel like he's not capable of things. I will feel bad as well. We don't have any compassionate sex anymore. I'm turning to his mother. I'm not his lover anymore. He's getting more and more quiet. He withdraws and pulls away with me. If you don't want to work with pain, you can also work with possibilities. You can write down instead all the possibilities of what happens when you stop mothering your man or fathering your woman, that you have more romance and more passion in your relationship. Step number 3, pause before you take an action. Pausing can be a superpower. Before reminding your partner or correcting him or taking over, ask yourself, am I mothering or nurturing right now? Is this really necessary, what I'm going to do right now? Is this my anxiety speaking? What would happen if I don't do this right now? If you're not sure if this is mothering or more nurturing, slow down and don't take any action, at least for a few moments. Because usually anxiety wants to tell you you have to act right now, you have to take action, you have to remind him of something, you have to take over. Nurturing usually comes from a more grounded place. If you're struggling with overthinking in relationships as well, I have a mini course, the How to Stop Overthinking in Your Relationship with Your Avoidant Partner. Helps you to take control of your mind so you stop worrying about what your partner does, how your future might look like, and what he's up to, and helps you to break the cycle of overthinking, or to understand why you overthink as someone who has an anxious attachment style and why it really kills your relationship by trying to focus on things outside of your control. So the perfect topic for today. It interrupts the anxiety cycle and builds trust within yourself through lots of mini tools that you can apply in the moment, but also deep transformational tools that will be applied long term and that can make a huge difference for your relationship and for your anxiety, so you can live more in the moment, in the present moment, instead of just being in your head. It's a 4-step course designed to help you to stop the mental spiral. It's not at all about managing your partner, but about your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions in your relationship, the only things that we can control. However, if you're someone who's more obsessed over texts, I have this text anxiety course also in its beta round for only €27 right now. It's all about, if you're obsessed over text, of what he's saying, what he's texting, how often he's texting you, why he hasn't texted you back, or how often he calls you, then this is the course for you. I will teach you why texts are not about your partner, but it's all about your anxious brain, your anxious attachment style, and why obsessing over your text from your partner is making anxiety worse. And you can only break the cycle if you work on your anxiety and not about your partner. It goes really deep into why you obsess over text, how to break the cycle as well, and helps you to build trust within yourself. Check out my 2 courses. They are linked in the description below, and yeah, grab them if you want the reduced version right now while they're still in beta round. And step number 4 you can do is use the mother visualization to let go. and detach from your need of control. When you're tempted to mother your partner, visualize yourself literally turning into his mother. Yes. Picture him seeing you as his mother, not his lover. And that's very powerful as well. Again, this is how you rewire your brain, by associating something painful, something that you don't want to envision, but this can make you stop taking this action. Because in the end, you will be turning more and more into his mother one way or another. Ask yourself, do I want him to be thinking of his mom right now when he looks at me? No? Okay. Take a break and stop this and just come from a more nurturing place. And the last step you can do is create your anti-anxiety toolkit. For example, you can go back to 5 minutes of breath work. You can shake off your anxiety, literally shake off your body to release tension like a dog does. Mindfulness walks. I love color walks, when you take a walk and only focus on one color at a time. Choose the color blue and look at the blue sky and anything else with the color blue. That helps you to stop worrying about things and helps you to be more in the present moment, and it helps you to calm down your anxiety, because in the end of the day, when you're stepping into this mothering role, you're being this controlling version of yourself. You're trying to control things that are outside of your control. And the more you calm your anxiety, the more you will be able to let go of these micromanaging behaviors. It's not something that will help immediately, but over time, this will make a huge difference. Taking it easy and really slowing down in general will also be a very helpful tool, like just breathing very deeply throughout the day. So many times when we feel anxious, everything goes so fast. We hold on our breath. We don't even breathe at all for a few moments. We breathe very shallow. So just breathing very slow, that tells your brain there's no danger here right now. I am safe. Do a journal brain dump with all of your thoughts onto a piece of paper. It is also very powerful. And use these tools before you slip into this mothering, controlling role every day, and practice them, even if it's just for 2 minutes. If you choose one anti-anxiety tool every day, over time, this will help you to reduce your anxiety overall in your relationship. And a bonus tool to rewire your anxious mind with evidence. So at the end of each day or week, depending on your preference, create a list of instances where you let him handle things without you having to step in, where you resisted the urge to remind him to correct things, to do things differently, where you trusted him to take care of his responsibilities, where you really let him do himself, where you were not controlling, where you're not overstepping your boundaries in your relationship as lovers. And then write down what actually happened. Did the earth crumble underneath your feet? Spoiler alert, I bet it won't. Did he forget his work lunch? And then what? Did he survive? Did he eat too much sugar? And guess what? Maybe he added a few more kilos. Okay. This evidence gathering process and this reflection of the last day or week is very powerful for your anxious brain, because it helps you to show your brain that, hey, you know what, you can let your partner be who he wants to be. You don't have to treat him like a toddler or like a child. And it also shows you how maybe it affected your relationship differently. You realize with this proof that your partner is not a child anymore, that he doesn't need you as his mother, that the relationship survives and thrives even when you take a step back. And the more you collect this evidence, the more your brain will begin to trust your partner more and yourself more as well, to let go of things you can't control, that are outside of your control. And the more you create safety from within yourself. And your partner's independence is not a threat to your security either. It's the foundation of it. And when you allow him to be capable, independent, as an adult, as a lover, you create space for really genuine connection, rather for this codependency you have created by accident. And that's where really true security begins, and attraction begins to thrive as well. And remember also, you have both different strengths and different talents. So maybe being on top of his appointments is not his core strength, but it doesn't give you the right to take over his brain and over his schedule and over his life unless he's asking for help. The more you step into your regulated and relaxed and calm self and step up more into your feminine energy, the more your partner can embody his masculine energy too. And remember, change in a relationship starts with you, thought by thought, action by action, and now episode by episode. I'll see you in the next one. Love, Yula. Bye bye.